Welcome to the HIV Prevention in LGBT Youth Workshop. I'm so glad you guys are here with me today, and I would just like to take a minute to introduce myself. I'm Stephanie Peterson, and I am here on behalf of the Center of Disease Control's Adolescent Sexual Health Team. So as you can see, that is my email address if you ever need to contact me after this workshop ends. And if you just take a moment and look at the question that I have posed up on the board, what is one thing that you would like our group to know about you? So I think it's really important that we get to know each other during this group so that we can feel more comfortable with each other. And this can be anything that you would like our group to know. It can be something simple like I love to snowboard, but just anything that you would like to share with us today. And on that note, I would also like to make sure you know that you are in a safe environment. Whatever you say in this room will stay in this room. And I trust that you will respect that with each other as well. So there is no judgment here. You can take a deep breath and know that you are free to be yourself. And at this point, I will have these participants go around and introduce themselves. So you may be wondering what we're going to be talking about in this workshop. We will be learning about HIV history, contraction, and prevention, the importance of having open conversations with prospective partners regarding HIV, and condom use and effectiveness. So what is HIV? HIV stands for Human Immunodeficiency Virus, and it is typically transmitted through sexual intercourse. There is no cure for HIV, and if left untreated, it will eventually turn into AIDS. So HIV is a virus that attacks the body's immune system and deteriorates it. Without a good immune system, your body is not able to fight off everyday infections. So a common run-of-the-mill cold or cough could actually be really dangerous to someone living with HIV or AIDS. HIV can only be contracted through direct contact with certain bodily fluids, such as blood and semen. So HIV in the LGBT community is very prevalent. The LGBT community is at a high risk, with males being disproportionately affected over females. So how can I protect myself? Now that we know what HIV is, how it affects the body, and how it's transmitted, let's talk about prevention. So one thing that I really encourage is engaging in open conversations about HIV status with prospective partners. This may feel a little bit awkward at first, but it really is the first step in protecting yourself against HIV contraction before engaging in any sexual activity. And just so you guys know, this includes oral sex as well. So let's take a minute and talk about some helpful ways to start these open conversations and getting them going. So if this were a real workshop, I would have the participants take turns reading each of the following quotes, but I will just read them. So the first one says, this is hard for me to talk about, but I care about you and I think it's important. How do you feel about going to get tested for STDs together? And the second one says, FYI, I got tested for STDs last month and I didn't have anything. Have you ever been tested? I want us to make sure we're taking care of each other. And the last one says, I think it's important to be honest, so I want to tell you that I got tested for STDs last month and found out I had chlamydia. I took medicine and I don't have it anymore, but it showed me how common and sneaky STDs are. Have you ever been tested? So I just pulled these straight from the Planned Parenthood website, and I just thought that they were some really good examples of how to have these important conversations. So at this point, I would split the participants into pairs, and I would let them brainstorm together other examples of how to initiate or hold these sometimes uncomfortable but important conversations, and this will allow them a little bit of practice as if it were a real situation. So the next thing I really want you to think about when thinking about preventing HIV is condoms. So how many people in this room actually know what a condom looks like? So at this point, I would bring out a condom, unwrap it, and just allow them to look at it. Many teens don't use condoms because they don't know how to use them properly, and many of them have never seen a condom before. So that is a problem. When used consistently, condoms are at least 80% effective in preventing HIV. So at this point, I would show a non-graphic condom demonstration video. I will not be doing any sort of a live demonstration or anything like that. So this quote says, "I would like to use condoms, but I don't feel I have access to any, and I don't have any money." So if this sounds like anyone in this room, I want you to be aware of your options. There are resources out there to access free condoms, such as Planned Parenthood, your local health department, family planning clinics, and even online support groups will often mail out free condoms straight to your home in a very discreet packaging. So at this point, I would like to review what we have learned today, and I will also open up the rest of the time for questions from the group. I would also collect the worksheets, the questionnaire, and the evaluation, and based on the responses I receive on that, we would discuss those answers as well. So I want to thank you all for coming today, and I hope you have learned a lot about HIV and HIV prevention. I have a few small bags made up for each of you to take on your way out. Each bag contains 3 condoms and a resource card in it. The resource cards have my information on it and a few other helpful resources for you guys. And I will also collect all paperwork at this time. So this concludes my workshop on HIV prevention in LGBT teens.